Good evening, everyone. Time is 6:06. This is the November meeting of the Harrisburg Zoning Board. Okay, to my right, Mr. James Hobb, Vice Chair. To my left, Mike O'Connell, our solicitor, and to his left is
Pat.
our second solicitor. And representing the city is the Director of Planning and Zoning, Jeff Knight. And Ms. Cameron, she's representing the City Law Department, okay? Myself, I'm the Chair, Claude Phipps. This is, and I said this in front of City Council, we're a quasi-judicial board, which means that we have a stenographer, because again, any statements, anything made, your appeal process is up to Common Pleas Court, okay? So we have to have something that's a court of record for that appeal process. Okay, there's no visitors here, but anybody who has anything to speak, they'll step to the mic, virtual mic there, and they will make their announcements, okay? And the rules governing that is that they must be in some close proximity to the property or the issue that's in front of us, okay? So I'm gonna turn this over to Michael, and we're ready to go.
Okay, so before we begin, so the court reporter here to my left taking everything down, so let's avoid not talking over one another, or just so it's clear, so the court reporter can take everything down. Also, as this is on the record and it's a hearing, then we swear in the witnesses, so Mr. Knight, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And the case is 2620, 1414 North Cameron Street. And I'll read in the exhibits, and then we'll have the applicant and his counsel identify themselves, and then we'll swear in the applicant, okay? All right, so we have Exhibit B1, the proof of publication in the Patriot News, November 2 and November 9, 2025. B2 is the letter sent from the planning director to the applicant notifying of the hearing tonight. B3 is the hearing notice posted on the property. B4, notification letter sent to the required neighbors and a certificate of mailing. B5 is the application packet, and with that was an attached narrative, photos of the existing conditions on the property, site plan for the proposal, and the parking study and analysis. B6 is a letter from Specialized Education, the parent company of Capital Academy, providing information of the students using the property to park to attend the school. B7 is the deed to the property establishing applicant's standing to pursue the requested zoning relief. B8, Planning Bureau case report, and B9 is the City of Harrisburg Planning Commission resolution. So it's B1 through B9, and I'll have, start with counsel, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, my name is Esh McCombie. I'm an attorney with McNeese, Wallace & Nurick, 100 Pine Street, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Sitting to my right is Josh Gray with GNR LP, the applicant and owner of the property. I'll give a brief.
Let me just then swear him in, and then you can run with it, okay? Mr. Gray, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, proceed.
I'll give a brief overview and introduction, and then Mr. Gray will testify on a couple points. We only have one exhibit for this evening, so I hope we can get in and out pretty quickly for you. Property's at 1414 North Cameron Street in the city's industrial district. The site currently houses Capital Academy, which is a private K-12 school. We are expanding, or the school is expanding, and the plan is to add 2 permanent modular classrooms in the parking lot. Their construction is going to reduce the off-street parking spaces by about 4, bringing it down to 72 parking spaces total. There is sufficient public transportation in the area, and nearly none of the students drive to school. In fact, we had a parking analysis completed for the school's parking needs. Under the current conditions, the school requires a max of about 30 on any given day. And with the additional students, it's anticipated that that will only go up to 39 spaces total, and we've got 72 available. However, as the As Jeff's report points out, 89 parking spaces are required under the zoning ordinance. So we are requesting a special exception to reduce that parking to the 72 that we have available. Again, as I said, I have just one witness, and so if there are no questions for me.
Hold on one second. As we usually do, and I just turned it over to you, Mr. Knight, why don't you go through then your report, and then Attorney McCombie will get right to you, okay?
That was my chance to defer everything.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't continuing, then I might have cut, it's just like, you know what? Okay.
As the applicant noted, the issue at hand here is the relief from the off-street parking requirements for a school, public or private, primary or secondary use on the existing use on site, the Capital Academy. The student population is increasing from 115 students to 147 students, and the staffing will increase from 40 staff to 52 staff, which will increase the off-street parking requirements from 69 spaces to 89 spaces. As the applicant notes, there will only be 72 spaces on site after installation of the modular classrooms in the parking lot and reconfiguration of a portion of the parking lot in the northeastern corner. Zoning hearing board approval of the special exception is required for relief from 17 off-street parking spaces. As the applicants, generally speaking, as the applicants noted, they had a parking study done for their use, which is, certainly a more robust self-analysis than we often get for similar requests. As they noted, most of their students are bused or dropped off, and many of their faculty take mass transit to the site, such that they only require somewhere in like the neighborhood of 35 spaces currently and 39 spaces under the proposed conditions. So there's certainly sufficient parking on site to accommodate this request. Not only does the applicant meet the conditions of, having access to mass transit routes, but they've also done the comprehensive study demonstrating that the requirements in the zoning code are in excess of what they are, they do require and they will require going forward. It should also be noted that the applicant's need to expand the facility basically requires them to locate in the front of the property where the park, which is almost entirely occupied by the accessory parking lot on site. The floodway runs right to the west of where these trailers, these modular classrooms will be located. So it would have significantly complicated any proposal to either expand the building on site or build additional classroom space in the back of the building where the applicants do have space just because of the floodplain and more specifically the floodway designations. So with all of that being said, the Planning Commission recommended that the Zoning Hearing Board approve the request with the following conditions. The applicant must coordinate with Capital Region Water regarding the site disturbance and proposed reconfiguration of the parking lot to ascertain what stormwater mitigation efforts will be necessary. And while I don't think they're increasing the impervious surface on site, I don't know, I'm not an expert in CRW's regulations, and anytime you do any sort of earth disturbance, they may require some sort of, may require the site to be brought into compliance with their current regulations. And then as the proposed parking configuration will have vehicles facing the residential properties across Cameron Street, the Planning Bureau is recommending that the applicant relocate the parking lot several feet to the west and install landscape screening along at least the eastern frontage of the proposed reconfigured lot area. And just for aesthetics' sake, we'd probably recommend that the landscaping be extended to the entire Cameron Street frontage of the property. And the Planning Commission recommends that Zoning Hearing Board approve the request for the following reasons. The applicant has met the criteria necessary for approval of a special exception, and the proposal should have a negligible impact on the surrounding neighborhood. Because the use is already operating on site, approval of the proposal will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood and will provide benefits such as the ability to enroll new students. As previously noted, although not in the case report of the resolution, the applicants cannot locate the modular trailers at the rear of the property, so they do have to occupy some portion of the parking lot. And then finally, if the conditions of approval are adopted, the project will result in the property overall being brought into better conformance with the zoning code.
offer to the board if it would make things more efficient, given the support we have from city planning department and the planning commission, and that there's no one in the audience to be opposition. I'd be okay with giving you a quick overview and then just
Sure.
open it to questions rather than running through the normal list of.
No,
it
that's
all.
good. Yeah, go ahead.
I will hand out, I don't know if it's in your packets, what I'd like to call Exhibit A1. Exhibit A1 is a revised site plan. As we continue to work through the project and talk with Jeff's office and FEMA, we decided it made sense to raise those modular buildings another 18 inches, completely get them out. As I think I've mentioned earlier, we did receive conditional approval on the building permit for those. And so I'm giving you that only because the only change on there are the numbers, raising it 18 inches. Nothing else has changed on the site plan. As Jeff pointed out, the building itself is in the floodway. It's been a floodway that, kind of expanded to that point. So there's no real way for us to expand the building. We certainly can't put the modulars behind the building, so the only option is to put them out front. We've learned from the school that they need to expand or they need to leave. Those are the two options. And so we'd like to keep them. We think it's a great use for the property and a great use for the city of Harrisburg. And as Jeff mentioned, we went so far as to have a study completed to make sure that we have all the parking that's needed. I think the one other interesting piece that's in the letter from the school is that, I think this year there are no students that drive at all. Last year there was one. So there's not a whole lot of activity going on at the school in terms of parking. And then we do have 2 bus stops, public transportation stops, one at each intersection on the corners there. With all that kind of being said, I think we're comfortable with both conditions. At the Planning Commission meeting, I mentioned to the Planning Commission I'd want to talk to my client a little bit more about having screening go the entire length of Cameron Street, but we are willing to accept that condition, and then certainly we'll work with CRW as well. So that's really all we have. Those are kind of the highlights, so if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
And to Mr. Gray, you've heard what your attorney has mentioned. Would you adopt that as, any of the factual statements he made as your testimony that it was accurate and all that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I can add, Josh, have you reviewed the narrative that was submitted with the application?
Yes, I have.
And to the extent applicable, do you accept or adopt the comments made therein as your own?
I do.
Perfect, yep.
Just was gonna ask, is there any conditions related to the school that you would think would cause an immediate increase in the need for parking compared to the 35, I think, or 39 that you all mentioned?
I don't think so. Basically, the audience of student that they go with is academically, behavioral, and emotionally challenged students that they bring in. And a lot of times, they're bused or dropped off. So even if there was growth, typically speaking, they're not the type of students that are gonna be driving to school.
Gotcha.
So, and they serve central Pennsylvania in 29 school districts, but they are growing, and that was the need for this. But I can't think of anything that would, I think even say 40, there'd still be 32 spots of excess there. And I can't think of anything. We've really spent a lot of time with the school to challenge them on that. And they're saying there's really nothing that they can think of that would, I would say in athletic events, they don't really do that at that location.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things with the school is that the public schools are required to transport the students.
Right, there, yep.
Yeah, they serve a need for the public
That's right.
schools, and they pay for the transportation back and forth, because the Capital Academy serves a need for the community, for the students that the regular schools can't handle sometimes.
Gotcha.
Right.
Alrighty, thank you.
You're in luck tonight. I don't have any questions.
I don't believe it, Mr. Phipps, not.
But I will, one of the, in the report, it basically said you're going to maybe put some type of fencing or something up to cut down on the glare, and I don't know how I'm gonna say this. There's no houses there, so what are you cutting down the glare from? It's just empty, on one side, it's empty, so it's just an empty lot. What was the need for that?
I think the idea is across Cameron Street, there's an apartment complex. And so I don't know that it'd be a fence, but some sort of bushes or something to
Yeah.
screen.
Okay, further down.
I think they were looking for some form of landscaping to create a barrier between the sidewalk and kind of our campus. If anything, it'd be more beneficial for us than anybody. So-
Okay.
Or our tenant. So I think our
Aesthetics,
tenant
it'll
would-
make it
I think
look
our
a
tenant
little
would
pleasing.
enjoy it more than anybody because it's gonna give them a little bit more privacy, create a campus
Yes.
for them. So I think it's a good aesthetic request that Jeff had, and I think if anyone's gonna benefit, it's gonna be our tenant.
Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, so, okay.
Good.
So I'd like to make a motion that for, oh God, I get the numbers right. For application 2620, we accept the application, or we approve the application based off of the recommendations from the Planning Bureau.
All right, so,
Good.
right, you make a motion to approve application 2620 with the conditions set by the planning commission, correct? Okay.
Yes.
That's the motion, Mr. Hobbs.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's approved, and obviously the written decision then will be sent out within the 45 days, okay?
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right,
it, gentlemen.
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks, Joe.
We're gonna bring you in for all of them. Okay.
So,
Ms. Cameron, you okay with,
No,
any questions?
fine, yeah.
Okay, because we normally, we should have asked you.
No
and-
comments from me.
I'm only doing the easy one from now on. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night.
all right.
Thank you.
And I know that you contacted them, you know, again, we still didn't get anything. If it was just the first one, I would, you know, continue it, but I'm a little more reluctant to do it again.
I mean, I would ask that a continuance be granted, being that I think I think the issue, at least from my perspective of, from the board, was less maybe the substance of the request than it was the technicality of whether they had ownership or approval to use the property at 1625 Cumberland Street to ensure that they had the required off-street parking. So I mean, speaking on behalf of the applicants, you know, I would request that a continuance be granted perhaps to the January meeting. We don't have the dates for that just yet. But and then I would solicit a formal continuance request from them after this meeting.
Well, what hap, let me ask a question, so we approved the continuance until January. How do we go about notifying them with some type of feedback that we know they received notification? And if they hear,
Here's though, the thing that we, you know, that you do is usually they're there because they're the ones that have to request.
Right.
And, you know, that's a concern. I'm not saying that anything then would come up that he would be the, you know what I mean? I never requested it, and now it's just approved the way that it's requested, but that is the concern.
he could apply, if we turn this down, he could come back and refile.
Okay.
I think that takes.
And I mean, it can, and all he needs to do is one or two things.
Right.
I mean, he comes through with an agreement,
Mm-hmm.
just to lease it, because our concerns were that, to protect him as well, that, hey, listen, if he just starts doing this and then owner
Right.
sits there and sells it, then, you know,
He has, right.
you know, that then he's out of luck, you
Right.
know, and,
Our concern is more to protect him.
yeah, and also, you know, what would generally be, you know, necessary, so that's kind of, you know, why,
Yeah.
you know, looking at it.
Well, a question, what has been the recent communication with the applicant?
There was, I think I think there was an email immediately after the last meeting, and then I believe I copied BCC to Mr. O'Connor, Mr. Pykosh this morning when I apprised them of exactly what we were looking for, and I said, you can either bring that to tonight's meeting, or you can either drop it off in the planning bureau beforehand, or email it to us. So we did apprise them that they were expected to show up to tonight's meeting, and what exact documentation the board was looking for.
Mhm. But did they give a direct response
I
to that?
I don't think I got a response from them today, no.
But also, right, you requested right after the last meeting to just tell them, again, what it was. The only thing is that usually then, or you get that written request, which, we've done tons of times, when it's just like, we need that written request, and we always say, we do need it.
Yeah.
You don't then need to show up, we just need that written request so then you can grant, because it's not, you can't just say, we request it, and
I guess that's true. I
unfortunately-
couldn't speak
And
on
unfortunately,
their behalf, yeah.
Mr. Knight could, even though with good intentions. You know what I mean? And that's just the concern
If we
to do it.
deny, okay, they can reapply, or is there any cost associated with that reapplication?
Normally, we kind of review every new application as being a distinct submission, but, in a case like this, especially, it's in a bit of a unique scenario where we're at the end of the year, so this is pushed back a little further than it would normally be. It may be that we would be willing to waive the fee, because I think it'd be relatively perfunctory to go back through the process again, certainly to the planning commission, to get back to here.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't foresee us having to develop a lot of new documentation, for example. The case info documentation would all be the same. It would
No.
just be,
Just redocket it.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and it would all be like the same, and then the question would just come in, be a lot easier than if he even just had it, then it'd be a few questions in January, February, whatever time it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and who knows, if there's something else going on, with it, because I know what the agreement said, that within 60 days, which was the last meeting, that he had to have so much in cash to get the deed, and if not, then he wasn't gonna get the deed. It would still continue on, that he could come up with it, but, not knowing any of that either, it might just be,
Sure.
the better practice just to do that. And if it does then come in, then perfectly fine, and everything can go smoothly at that time, so. Why don't you go
Take a
on?
look at it. I'm ready to get this.
Here,
off
why
the
don't you
docket.
go on? Yeah,
Yes.
just say,
I am, okay, so
hold on. So this is then for application 2617. It was continued from the October 20 meeting. When applicant was here, it was Mr. Larry.
Yes,
What's
correct.
his first name?
Abdul Larry, I believe.
Okay, Abdul
Yeah.
Larry. And he was advised that it would be continued to the current date, November 17. And Mr. Knight, I understand that then also an email was then sent this morning reminding of what documentation Mr. Larry needed, and that he could bring it to tonight's meeting and so on, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. And we waited, what time is it?
6:30.
6:30, okay, and nobody has appeared on behalf of applicant. What we were requiring from the last meeting was some sort of agreement, or as part of the sales agreement, authorizing applicant to use the 1616 Hurst Street and 1625 Cumberland Street parking lots for parking for the place of worship at 1100 North 17th Street, which didn't have any available, no space or anything for off-street parking. So that documentation hasn't been received, and then with that, so the record would be closed, and then a motion can then be made from there.
Okay, so. with
And
that-
just one more point
Go ahead.
before. I don't know if this needs to be explicitly stated, but I know in the past, there have been denials without prejudice, that it was basically on a procedural aspect such as this or a technicality, I think, as opposed to saying like, we disagree with the proposal that's going out there. So I don't know if that needs to be stated separately when going through this for the process.
I can probably say right in the decisions that all I would say is why it would be denied is just that those agreements were not being provided, really. That's exactly, you know, what, the basis for it. So almost even letting applicant know, okay, that's then what I need.
Okay. Yeah, I
Because
just-
I'll go
I-
through
I
all
had-
the you know what I mean? I'll go through all the facts and all that type of thing and just really point that that would be then the issue that then the
The
board then
denial's-
would sign.
Right,
Yeah.
the denial's based off the fact that ownership of the lots that he's proposing to use in support of his, support of the project.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all. I mean, again, and we've asked to bring that information in front of us. Okay, it's more protection for him, that
Right.
he has proper ownership or usage rights. Okay, now we're asking for is to see that documentation.
Yeah. And I had recalled that terminology had been used before. I didn't know if that was prudent to use in the current situation or not.
So, maybe Mr. Hawks, or you?
I'm good.
So I'm making a motion for application 2617. We denied the request, okay?
Right, deny the application.
We denied
Right,
the application, and,
that's it.
Second.
okay, moved and properly second. All in favor? Any questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so
Okay.
it's denied, and he can refile. I mean,
Yeah.
again,
Okay.
he can.
And all this is on,
Oh,
anyway,
it's on
the record
and
as well.
again, you can, you know, so there's no hardship with that. That was my concern, was that would a refile force a hardship? I don't think so. And
No,
We're getting,
essentially,
we're getting
that's
some
all he
time, we're
needs to do.
protecting his right, we're protecting his rights, okay, because if we grant it, and then
Yeah,
all of a
you're
sudden there's a legal issue,
Yeah,
it's gonna cost him more to resolve that.
sure.
That was amazing. when
Okay,
we
so-
get here.
We have another cases in front of us tonight. As you said, we do not have a meeting in December, right? We have it in January.
That is correct.
So, okay, so I'll see everybody, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, moving properly second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, see you in January. Thank